So how I know all this and how I have such passion is because I had a brain that was in big trouble. And when your brain goes, everything goes across the board. So my whole life, I've had anxiety and panic attacks. In my third year university, I had a 4.9 GPA. It was number 2 in 6,000 at Western University. If I didn't have my monkey business, I'd have like a gold medal from Western. But, so at that time, my image of success was going to Harvard Law. Harvard Law, Harvard MBA. You know, you've seen the flashy movies like The Firm, and it's like, oh yeah, I want to be like Tom Cruise, live the action, you know? And that was, you know, the image of success. So I started studying for the LSAT, right away started getting near perfect scores, 180s on the exam. So I booked my test, and I went in full out adrenaline panic attack. It was overwhelming. And guess what, ladies? Even still before an event, I still get it a little bit, but now there's just no freaking way that anxiety's coming. And if I happen to mess myself up by eating, you know, some partially uncooked egg whites before an event, like I did before Belinda's event, you'll see me and I'm like, white. But resilience, no matter what, you power through. But the thing was, for me, I had this full-out panic attack. Adrenaline pumping through my body, just paralyzing me. And, you know, I had to walk out of the exam. And I didn't quit at anything in my life. And I was a determination machine. So my strategy was just to work harder. Right? You read any self-help book, what is it? They'll give you some productivity little chart, and they'll say work harder. For a lot of them. So I actually had such determination, I had studied to the point where there was no fresh materials for me to study. I'd gone through every single one. So I was stressing about trying to find new practice materials for the exam. And I go into the second exam, and same thing happens. Go in, another panic attack. Now, my entire life, I'd been a naturalist, a personal trainer when I was young, big into nutrition. I'd worked at, you know, a high-end grocery store when I was young, and all the, you know, elderly women there would feed me all the, you know, the healthiest foods. Oh, Chris, try this, try this, try this, try this. And I did love chocolate muffins. That was my dynamite back then. But at this point, I was somewhat desperate for something. Not desperate, but like looking for something to help me get over the edge. Because I'd been in 2 exams and both times, like complete hell break loose, no control. Now my upper year friends, medical students, PhD students, abuse things like all these Ritalin and Adderall, these stimulant medications they give to kids. Not only that, they abuse the higher drugs like cocaine. It all opens into that. There's always that next high, greater high that the brain's seeking. Now I, you know, decided to give it a try. And for me, someone who was emotionally unstable, anxiety already high, it sent me overboard. And it led to rigid, out of control behavior. And it ended up, you know, doing some crazy stuff and depleting through my savings, ended up being hospitalized, 150 pounds. Yeah, I was really weak. Like if you look at like some of the photos, I don't know, some of them on Facebook, yeah, I was pretty broken down. And my whole family was worried. Like, why are you so thin? And for me, I had this distorted self-image. So I didn't think I was thin. What are you talking about?
Never had that.
Yeah. Yeah. So a little bit, you know, ladyitis. No. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, no, I had, I was 150 pounds and then was hospitalized. And then one morning, it was 5 a.m. I just looked and I was like, what the hell am I doing? And I reached that enough is enough point. And that's what people have to reach, whether it's anxiety, whether it's PTSD, whether it's a fear. It's that enough is enough. Some never again. Okay? So if you've been, you know, if psychological issues or neurological issue, you have to get some never again. So that you basically pursue whatever your true heart desires, full force. For me, that was the Qigong, Tai Chi, getting into neuroscience, getting into the brain, the mind, and basically optimizing my own brain at lightning speed, using all the neurotechnologies that I use to optimize my own brain. And then I got to the point where I was working with so many people asking for my advice. Chris, what do I do to work out for my brain? How do I use my mind for my brain? Because they saw changes in me. I went from being that stressed, tense person with no time for anyone to now having time. I started going out. I never went to the bars. 4th year university, I started going to the bars, first time. And I started, you know, taking time to speak with people and share with them. And people noticed a change in my behavior. So I started running my own little business. I wasn't charging anyone. I was just like, hey, you do this, you do this, you do this. Why are you wasting so much time on this? Just do this. Eat this before. You'll feel better. Your headaches will go away. And then, quickly that Harvard Law MBA dream became, running my own business and getting to where I am today.